Hi everyone, I did it. I'm doing it. Yep. I made my YouTube channel. I really have been procrastinating with this, but I'm proud of myself because I've got there in the divine timing and all that jazz. So for you who don't know me, I am Moonchild Indigo, also known as Amber. I run a spiritual development company as well as psychic readings is one of my things I do. I hold workshops, public speaking. I kind of, you know, like to dabble in a few pies, but it's all kind of under the spiritual umbrella. So that's me, just a quick little sum up. I've had requests for these videos for the longest time. So I'm doing them, I'm doing them. And I'm really excited, I'm really happy about, you know, the ideas that you guys have shared with me and the ones I've come up with. So we'll be doing videos on all different topics. So keep your questions, keep your comments coming, because I'm happy to kind of answer your question through a video. One you're going to get every single month is the Zodiac season change. You guys send me my own post back to me so often. You know, kind of giving a whoop whoop and or a, you know, oh my god, that makes a lot of sense, and oh my god, that's my brother, or that thing. When I, you know, break down the zodiacs, I have a deep love for star signs, always have. So my aim was to make something that will also help elaborate on my post, extend a bit, something to refer back to, that isn't just written. So in this video we'll be breaking down the next season change, which is Libra, but in every zodiac season change video we'll be breaking down the sign, what we're supposed to learn from the sign, and just because I like to be cheeky and it's necessary, just a few cards just to kind of sum up what we're kind of going to be expecting in this period of time. And yeah, so let's get to it. Cannot wait to start this one, and thank you for tuning in.
Hey, motherfuckers, look at my new car! I got a new car, bro. I got a new car. What? I got a new car. Shit. Come back that way.
So let's get popping. So we've got Libra season. Libras are very interesting signs, actually, and sometimes there are signs that are slightly more forgotten, purely because they keep themselves to themselves, and there's not many signs that keep themselves to themselves. But with the Libra, they're very, you know, first of all, they represent the scales. Now, people get it really twisted and really wrong. That does not mean that the Libras are balanced. If anything, it actually means the polar opposite, that they're constantly swinging between the two. I've known quite a few Libras over my time, mainly female Libras, but I've known of or seen Libra males as well. And there are similarities and things that aren't the same between them. But let's break it down. So Libras are an air sign, so they're the mind. They're cardinal. Cardinal means to be, so you have cardinal, fixed and mutable. So mutable is interchangeable, fixed is fixed, and cardinal is kind of the go-getter, the starter, but they're not particularly very good at the finishing part of it. So they love starting something but kind of get bored and don't finish it. The cardinal signs are Aries, Capricorn, Libra, and I have wrote it, just give me a second, and Cancer. Oh, of course, yeah. I know a lot of Cancers, and Cancers are very cardinal. So they're very good at going within. Sometimes they're seen, the reason that they can be seen as the more forgotten sign is because they have a selfish streak, because they can like kind of just go into self mode, and that doesn't really involve anyone. And it's not because they're actually usually doing it for the greater good, like they're doing it for other people. Like they might be, say for instance, they're planning a workshop or something, they go fully within and hibernate and clock off kind of thing. Similar to a Cancer, but not realizing they kind of isolate themselves off, and people take offense and then think that they're selfish and all this kind of drama. So that is Libra's kind of, you know, vibe. They're the air sign, they're cardinal, so they, you know, they go within quite well, as well as starting something and going for it and the go-get and being ambitious. And then they're the scales. So they're one extreme or the other, and, you know, constantly trying to find their state of balance. So the words I'm going to give you for this, you know, time and this presence of this season for them is paradox. And when I say paradox, it's that they can sometimes come across as a contradiction. And that's because people misconstrue them. Actually, they get them wrong. They sorry, that's a wrong word. They perceive them wrong, and to be perceived wrong can then cause you to sort of go more inward. And that is what a Libra does. A Libra is very simple in their needs. Libras love love. They are ruled by Venus. They're ruled by Mother Venus. But unlike Taurus, who's also ruled by Venus, they are less hard-headed than the Taurus. But they have a need for partnership, and that again comes in with that scales, that double, that duality, the polarity. Having a second person is kind of like is the meeting of their scales for them. So they often, you know, have long-term relationships, or kind of always partner up with somebody, even if, you know, one thing's end, they've got someone else, and like it's like new boyfriend, new girlfriend. They rarely come out of one relationship and not go into another. And this can also, you know, bind into your moon signs or ascendants and other aspects of your chart. This just doesn't have to be about the sun sign. But what I will say about Libras is that, you know, they love love, they love partnerships, but then they have this selfish quality about them where they just like to get on with shit by themselves and get on with it and do their best at it until they get bored of it, basically. So that's why I said the word paradox for them, because they can let you in and then they can close off. They can let you in and then close off. And that's just that scales tipping. Now, I've got my notes, I've got my books. And the biggest lesson that Librans come into this world to teach and also to go through on the behalf of the rest of the zodiac is to make decisions. And it is not easy for a Libran to make decisions. Like, when I say it's not easy, I mean it is not easy. Now, imagine they're the scales and they're constantly doing this to try and get back to this, right? Now, when you're kind of in that state, it's not easy on the best day. But for a sign that is ruling the mind space, because they are air, that can get very egoic, or it can get very negative quite easily. Or it can just get very mind and comes out of the heart. Now, remember, these guys kind of have a rulership around the heart because they love love and they love being a part of a partnership. And if they're up in their mind space and, you know, can't get back to the heart space, that will make them that tipping of the scales. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is, you know, a massive thing about Librans, their decisiveness. They are the beautiful people, and I've got some examples for you now.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your ass invited, so gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for a plan, pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a plan, drop it for me. I'll rent a beach house in Miami. Wake up with no jammies. Lobster tail for dinner. Julio served that scampi. You got it if you want it. Got it if you want it. Said you got it if you want it. Take my wallet if you want it now. Jump in the Cadillac. Girl, let's put some miles on it. Anything you want, just to put a smile on it. You deserve it, baby. You deserve it all. And I'm gonna give it to you. Gold jewelry shining so bright. Strawberry champagne on us. Lucky
So yes, they get a lot of attention. I believe that Librans are actually very out there. They're very much aware of their needs and their wants, and they have this beautiful energy about them that exudes out of them because they are so brain smart. You know, they are very smart signs. They really love intellect. Intellect really stimulates them. They are the sapiosexuals of this world. They are just, you know, really into their intellect. So the way to a Libran's heart is to not necessarily teach them, actually, because they love to be taught, but when you give them permission to. But it's more about having the stimulant conversation. Now, that can also be a negative of the Libran, because the Libran loves to, they love fairness, yeah? And some people will call them, you know, sitting on the fence. They can straddle the fence sometimes. Now let's put ourselves on the fence. They're sitting on the fence. They see both sides of the fence. They see both arguments. So when one side, if they're with one person who's, you know, fully going in with their argument, they'll want to, you know, not school them in a you know, condescending way, but they want to school them on, well, let's see the other person's perspective. But that doesn't mean, and then when they go to the other perspective, that they don't do the same on behalf of this side. You see what I'm saying? So they're very fair. They're not one to just pull up on a side and that's it. Now, unless they're an unbalanced Libran, then yes, they're going to do that. But that can be said for any sign. You know, you're not going to be to your full potential. But the sign in general is very, very, very fair, very about fairness, very much about both sides of the coin. They like to really research every aspect. These guys will have books. They'll be book smart. They will have watched everything. They would have watched whatever you've watched 7 times more. And it's not about topping, but like I said, if unbalanced, then yeah, you could come across that kind of Libra. So yeah, just want to check on my notes. Oh yeah, you cannot rush a Libra either. This is what I was saying about the finishing things. They do it on their own speed, their own time. And that is like massive, 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 you know, beautiful quality that they have. So the Libra, to sum them up, they can be a paradox because they are the scales. They are, you know, up and down. They are actually the most emotional air sign out of all the air signs, because imagine all the air signs are logic, the mind. But the Libran, because they're ruled by Venus, they are very, very, very much more emotional than the other 2 air signs, their brother signs, which is Gemini and Aquarius. They don't necessarily detach the way the other 2 air signs do, because they have a softer planet, they have a feminine planet ruling them, whereas the other 2 have masculine planets ruling. They are very intelligent. They love their book smart kids. They won't just go off of experience. They want to learn why they had that experience. They will be the ones that will go in and find the mathematical, scientific, or, you know, just the research or the experience to be logically made sense of. And when they are really in line with their Venus ruling planet, they will also, you know, be fair to themselves or fair to others and be like, okay, but that's a feeling. I can't put that into logic. I can only, you know, experience this one. They're fair. They can sit on the fence, and at times that can be frustrating, but at the same time, when right is right or wrong is wrong, they can be the one to make everyone see both sides and harmonize. They are the harmonizers because they have the ruling planet of Venus behind them. So they are, you know, the indecisive ones, but they are always striving for decisions. They're always striving for decisiveness. So it's fair to say they are a slight paradox, but they are the paradox that we should love. And they can, you know, be very, very, very enjoyable, you know, in different ways. They are enjoyable. They are a very sexy sign. Let's just put that out there. They're a very sexy sign, Libras, and the Libras that I know, they've all got that little something going on. So that's something nice to take into these more wintry months. You know, we got the autumn season coming up now, and the fact that they've come in at that autumnal change isn't, you know, coincidence. The universe doesn't make any mistakes. So the leaves are dropping, making us feel a bit bare, and that's how scales dipping up and down when our moods are up and down can make us feel. So I'm going to get on to now how we can learn from the Libran.
Make you lose your mind every weekend. You take Wednesday, Thursday, then just send it my way. Think I got it covered for the weekend.
My man is my man though, bitch. Don't get fucked up.
Okay, so how can we learn from the Libran? The Libran is, you know, the go-to to learn from about decisions, to learn where you are a paradox, where you're not making firm decisions for yourself, you know. On a more serious note, you know, we can't go through life constantly being indecisive. We'll end up being, you know, at a certain age where we feel we haven't achieved things that we could have achieved a long time ago. And the Libra is there to remind us, make a decision. Take your time with that decision, because that's what they do. They're not rushed. No one can rush them. But take your time, but make a decision. Go forward as you wish, you know, your life to be. Stop holding yourself back. And to any Librans out there that are doing this, you know, I do feel for you, because it's a big old, you know, weight on your shoulders, scales on your shoulders that you guys have got going on. But just trust that, you know, you have the power. You guys hold this. You know, if you hold indecision as like a negative, that means you hold decision as the positive. So go forward at this time with positivity, of deciding, making a decision for yourself, whatever that is, small or massive, you know, just go for it. The paradox aspect of the Libran is, where are you being a paradox? Where are you being a contradiction to yourself? Are you saying to yourself, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that, and, you know, just speaking badly on yourself? But then are you out here one of these people who's pretending to be a self-lover? Like, you know, that's a paradox. Yes, the universe loves a kidder. Yes, the universe loves a trier. Yes, you know, we're all into this, you know, faking it till you're making it. But there's an element of belief that comes with that. And it can be a small amount, but if you don't have that full amount of belief for yourself, it ain't going to happen for you, you know? So where are you being a contradiction or paradox to yourself? That's what we want to know, okay? Also, you know, just going forward, where could you be, you know, more logical? Are you too much in your heart center that, you know, you're feeling so much that you can't logically think? Take that from the air quality, especially the cardinal side of the air sign here of Libra, because that's about go-getting, going forward, striving forward. We can't always move forward when we're just in our feelings. Our feelings can actually root us to this point of not moving, whereas also, you know, that can happen with all elements. For those that are new to me in the way I work, I am big on breaking down air, earth, fire and water. They are all elements of us. Our fire is our spirit, water is our emotions, air is our mind, and earth is our physical body. We have all of that going on at one time. We have to keep those in a constant state of balance. So even within that, where can we learn from the Libra? Where do I need to tip my scales? You know, because it isn't just about being fully balanced. It's about knowing, okay, when I'm up here, what am I too much in? And when I'm up here, what am I too much in, you know? And you'll find that there'll be some marrying and crossing over between the different elements within yourself, but they can all root us to one spot if we are unbalanced within that. So I want you to learn from the Librans. What is it, you know, that I could learn logically for myself at this time in this month period? It's a month out of your whole life. You know, sometimes we have to go to extremes to find our balance. Sometimes we have to go to doing barely anything to also find our balance and find the uncomfortability within that. So that's what I ask of you. That's what, not just me, the universe is asking. You know, we learn from each zodiac sign, and the Libra is here to make us make decisions, even if the Libra doesn't want to make a decision. Where can you be more logical? Where can you stop being a contradiction for yourself? That's the question I'm going to ask you to ask yourselves in this period. So yeah, get to it, do the work. It's not easy. This isn't easy, but I can trust that you will. So let's move on now. Let's go into what's coming up with the tarot. Okay, so now let's get into the tarot part of the Libra season and what's in store for us for the next month. Okay, so first of all, I want us to take a little moment just to breathe. I like to do little meditations with my clients. So you are clients in this moment. You are, you know, I'm responsible for you. So let's just take a couple of moments to take some nice deep breaths. So let's breathe in. And just align yourself. If you're like me, you've got some, you know, feelings, just align that now. And just make yourself nice and comfortable. Breathing in and out. And breathing in. And make it circular, breathing in and out. Try not to pause in between breathing in and out. So breathe in and out. And we're just going to take this time to say the prayer and to call in the guides and the assistance that we are asking for from the universe. So I call upon Allegra to open up the gates and to clear the crossroads, to make that pathway nice and clear for us in all directions, please. Thank you. Archangel Michael, I ask you to come in now to remove any low vibrations from myself and all that are watching this video, and anyone who watched this in the past, present or future. Remove that now. And now let's call upon our guides. Let's call upon all of the guides. The ancestors first, please. Let's honour our ancestors and call them in. And we're going to ask for our ancestors to come forward, but the ancestors only of the highest vibration only. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for opening that up. Thank you, Higher Self, for allowing the ancestors to come through. And now I call upon the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, orishas, any other deities from all cultures. I ask you to come in now. And let's ask for the universe to also come in now. And I ask you to take your focus quickly to your feet, to thank Mother Earth and to acknowledge your physical body. The earth represents our actual physical body. Breathe in and out. And now take your focus up to your heart. This is where our water element lies, and this is our emotions. And now to the mind, where our logic is, and the air quality of us. And we're just going to acknowledge the ego and thank the ego for all it teaches us. Everything that we don't want, it teaches us those things. But we are in control and we're ready to master our lives. And then lastly, let's open up that crown area and allow our spirit to come through, our light, our inner universe, our inner God, to come through that area and connect out into the universe and to our guides, so we get the clearest messages of the highest vibration and of the greater good. And our spirit is the fire energy, our soul. And so it is. Thank you. So, to begin with, I just wanted to get the cards out within the tarot that represent Libra and the planet Venus, because those are the main energies we are working with. So we got the Justice card, okay? So here, I want it to be not blurry, so maybe back here. So we got the Justice card, okay? The Justice card is clearly, look, it's straight away representing Libra energy on a more realistic level than, you know, the kind of balanced scales of maybe that's in some of the other cards. So there we go, straight away, that is the Libra card. It's all about balance, justice, coming into an alignment with ourselves. And being realistic. You know, the woman seems pretty sturdy, but she's got one knee up, one knee down. She's got unbalanced scales. She's got a balanced sword here, and you know, her background is all, you know, sort of symmetrical, but those scales are not perfect. So this really is about that, what I was saying about the paradox and being aware of, you know, where you're not being consistent with yourself, where are you a contradiction to yourself, where are you tipping your scales too much in one direction that is not helping you. Are you too much in your logic? Are you too much in your heart? Are you too much in the spirit that you're being ignorant to how you truly feel? Are you you know, are you too much worrying about the physical body right now? We've just come out of that energy with, you know, this cleansing process that Virgo tends to put us through, uncomfortable vibrations. And it's like, you know, you need to be aware of where are my elements. That's why I, you know, incorporate them very much in my readings. So, Justice, okay? It's the air. Remember, we're dealing with air signs right now. So we are more up in the mind, and this is a time that you're allowed to maybe be a bit more logical than you usually are. Tip your scales a bit. And if you're too logical, then come into your heart space, because then we've got Venus, and Venus is represented in the tarot. And I just want to own in on that so that you guys can get a better view of it. But it's not really working. Okay, so I don't want to mess up my view. But okay, so we've got the Empress card. The Empress is the card that is, you know, completely embodying maternal energy, nurturing energy, loving energy, motherly energy, pride, and a woman who knows herself, a woman who knows how to balance herself. But like, you know, they've got a very similar stance, one knee up, one, you know, both knees up, but opposite knees. So this is a balance right now. This is showing harmony to me right now. So this time, as much as it may not feel how about speak? As much as it may not feel harmonious, because that's what I do pick up straight away from this period in time, is that it's not necessarily the most harmonious time, even though we're in a balanced scale time. But it is a time to find your harmony, find what makes you, you know, I suppose tick, what makes you unbalanced, what makes you balanced, what makes you, you know, you're really going into a polarity and duality type of mentality, okay? So that is super duper important. So again, you know, this, they've both got, one's got the left knee and one's got the right knee, okay? So the right knee's on the Empress, the left knee. So they're showing, you know, they're both balancing themselves, but in different ways. She needs her right knee up and she needs her left knee up. And there's this, you know, holding two things in the hands. That are completely different. This is a shield and this is a flower. This is a sword, you know, the logic, and then, you know, the balancing of the scales. And that brings me back to, you know, Egyptian and Kemetic type of understanding of the scales. You know, if your heart, you know, putting the heart in the scales and the feather, and you know, that balancing. It's like you need to be like, you know, talking about your character maybe a lot at this time. That's definitely something that will go with the Libra quality of being, they're very good at self-realization, they're very good at self-analysis. So that is just to start your reading. Before I've even pulled cards, I just wanted us to have these cards. We got the Libra card and we got the Venus card. So we've got Justice and we've got the Empress. So remembering that Libra is a masculine sign, I do feel like energetically there is a feminine need to be applied to male and females at this time. Now, I know the divine feminine has been rising for the longest time now. What feels like a long time, it actually hasn't been a long time. But to men who keep hearing this over and over, this is like, oh God, like when is it going to start? It isn't. Like, just let's just put it that way. But we're not, my aim anyway, and I know the universe shows me the aim isn't matriarchal society, but we may go into a more matriarchal society in order for us to come back to alignment, to balance. You see, so it's very interesting that Libra represents balance but is ruled by a feminine planet. So there is a need for us to come into more of our feminine energy, I feel, with how we handle things. So women's logic isn't a negative, but we often put, oh, men are logical, women are emotional, but women who have logic are gorgeous as well as, you know, the men who have logic. And, you know, it doesn't mean just because a man holds logic that he's always the best one with the logic. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we need to carry it forward. What's good about women being logical? Well, they do bring their emotions into it, but, you know, how balanced is that? So I feel like the word balance is being repeated. Repeat. So let's ask the cards now. Please give me messages for the collective consciousness, the highest good, for the greater good, the highest vibration with harm to none. And I ask you to give us a card that represents what you think we need to know as a collective consciousness during this period of Libra season. Nice. Okay, so let's start with this. The first card that's come out is the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a message always, what I feel, is of give and take. It's a balanced number, the number of love. Okay, so 6 is the number of love. So like I just said, we've just gone to a feminine quality. We've been shown the Empress with the Venus, you know, representing Venus. You couldn't get any more love. So there is a real need and resurgence of love. And remember I explained that Librans work so much better within a partnership. They love to be in partnerships. Now, men and women are different within that, but that is the thing to learn from Librans. Just know that if you're in a relationship and you're in, you know, or any type of, you know, situationship, whatever it is that you're in, just know the Six of Cups is about give and take, giving and receiving, receiving and giving, and going in a flow and making that those scales constantly be trying to come back into alignment, you know, because this is a very loving card, and if you can see, they're sort of childlike looking, but I would say that the girl is sort of got more of a younger feel to her than the male. So it's about, you know, kind of being youthful within your approach, being innocent within your approach, and trusting that that's completely okay. Okay, so that is what they think you need to know on how to come into this season. Okay, so what would people need to know during the season once we're in the thick of the month? Oh, I do apologise. Okay. Right, so we've got the Seven of Wands, and then we have the Seven of Pentacles. So a lot of magic, because the 7 number is all about Midas touch. It's about esoteric wisdom. It's about mystic. I can never say this word. Mysticism. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Mystic stuff. So it's, you know, it's that real 7 is, you know, 7 is a lucky number. It's it's a very, very, very magical number, let's put it that way. So 7 coming up. Now these cards kind of look a bit like, oh, they're very masculine energy. Now the 7 of Wands represents like fire energy. So this is linked to spirit. This is about standing in your power. So through the month, you're going to need to stand in your power. And again, this feels very personal to self. This doesn't feel so much about outside of us, but it may reflect in that, because if we're battling with ourselves, then we're going to be battling outside of us. If we're ease within ourselves, then we're going to have ease on the outside of us. Or even if drama does occur, it's not going to phase us. So this is about standing in your power with yourself. What do you want? What do you need to be more assertive within yourself? You know, when especially it's linked to come to your spiritual discipline, because this is the spirit. This is linked to purpose, the soul, what we'd like to do, career, day to day. So maybe it's about time about, you know, learning, what do I want to transition in? Where am I going? Who am I, you know, allowing in my life? All these questions you need to be really asking yourself, but standing and staying true to your power with yourself, okay? Not just with people, mainly with yourself, because then the outside of you, that will become easier to do, okay? This is also, again, because they're giving me the word discipline. So this season is about discipline. So that's also helping with that decisiveness message that I've given you for this month. It is time to be very, very decisive, okay? Because and discipline, because this guy is, you know, looking over his harvest, looking what he's occurred, and all these beautiful gold coins and all his green harvest, and he's in his mountainous area. And this is about being rooted within what you've already, you know, it's kind of that looking over, you're about to reap, you're about to call in all of your riches, all of whatever that means to you, whether that's in love, whether that's in financial gain, whether that's in friendships, whatever that is, relationships, career, whatever aspect of your life you feel that this is necessary for. And Pentacles is the physical, but this could be, you know, physical love, like all kinds of things, you know, come with that. So with this, I'm picking up that you need to be aware that you're about to reap, but you might have to observe and watch for a little bit. That might be why you need to stand in your power to yourself, in the sense of, you know, when like we're kind of, it goes into observation mode, it's quieter, sometimes it's more still, and then we trick ourselves into thinking we're stagnant. We're not. We have to wait. You can't just expect the plant to grow overnight, right? We leave it alone, we water it, we give it its sunlight, but we don't sit and stare at it. You know, we don't sit and watch paint dry. That's boring, that is stagnant. So while you're doing this and whilst you're observing, don't allow yourself to think you are stagnant. Make yourself busy in other areas, not distracting yourself, but actually putting your uses in somewhere else, because once you reap, you're kind of going to have your hands full, you know, with bringing in all your crops, whatever your crops represent in this world. So you've got to stand firm in your power with with what you're going through when it comes to observing what you want to bring into your life. And just to end it, let's do the outcome from this time, moving into the Scorpio season at the end of the month. Okay, so this is the end of the month, is going to bring forward this kind of you've got a lot of choice over here, the 7 of Cups, and then we've got the 9 of Swords. Okay, doubt. Now going into Scorpio season, and being that the Libra new moon will be towards the end of the month as well, similar to what we've just experienced with the Virgo, this new moon coming at the end of a season is it feels a bit weird. It kind of feels a bit upside down. So this is a second sort of chance, because I've just done, you know, a live on this, and if you missed it, sorry guys, but the I mentioned that, you know, you need to put this corpse to bed. Like, stop dragging this corpse around with you. It's that season. This is the time where you're sort of getting a second round. If you haven't let go of some things that that was told to let go during the Virgo new moon and that Virgo period, this is the time. Like, this really is the time to sever these unnecessary worries, because this card is all about unnecessary worries. It's the sleepless nights card. It's the card of binding yourself to things that you don't need to be bound to, you know. And that, to me, that's 2 strong fists in there, choosing to be, you know, weakened by the other, when in reality there's only one knot at the front. They could undo that quite easily. There's 9 swords behind them. You know, it's unnecessary stress. So don't stress yourself. Now, going into Scorpio season, Scorpios are, you know, very good at kind of creating fuss out of nothing. Purely because they are the deeper waters and they look after the subconscious. It's really not their fault, guys, so don't give them a hard time. And I love me some Scorpio. So that season coming in, you might start bringing in unnecessary worry, thinking, oh, but I've got Scorpio. And not even if you don't, even if you don't follow the seasons like that thoroughly, you might be picking up that subconscious energy coming in from Scorpio, but don't take it on. Keep it light, because then we got the 7 of Cups over here, which is like complex decisions. Now, again, I feel it's unnecessary complex decision, because we've just gone through having, you know, going into this balanced energy with Venus over here. And then we got this this 6 of Cups, choosing ease, the giving and the receiving, standing in your power and, you know, reaping and waiting and being observant and creating yourself to be busy. There is no need then to be making things complex. You've handled the month like a boss, because you've just been taking your giving and receiving. You have just been observant. You're watching your time. You know, you'll be standing your power with yourself. So don't start making things complex for yourself by giving yourself so much choice that you start feeling all confuddled, go into Scorpio season, and then you're just a big watery mess. Okay, it's really important to stay on your A game when it comes to giving a lot of choice. Choice is hard, and especially, you know, I'm talking like the generations, sort of all ages obviously will be listening to this, but there is a generational thing with like the younger generations, and myself included, and people older than me as well, you know, like I'm talking like 40 sort of down, where, or no, actually a bit less, 30 sort of 7 and down. I find that people have, of this kind of generation down, have so much choice. We are the kids that were told we could be anything and want to be anything, and it causes us a lot of harm as much as it does, you know, freedom. It actually restricts us from our freedom, because we want to do everything, and then all of a sudden we're in this complex decision. What do I do first? What do I do next? Unnecessary worry. You're being told, why are you doing that? You don't need to have sleepless nights about choice. How beautiful it is that we have choice. Coming back to the basics of what choice is, and it's a form of freedom. It shouldn't restrict you. It's no longer choice if that's what it's become for you. It's now become a negative, which I don't even know what the negative to choice would be. I suppose prison, imprisonment. You don't want to be imprisonment to your choices. So the guides are very much showing me that, you know, there's just a need to be observant during this period. Breathe. Make some firm decisions for yourself. Love yourself during this period, please, because you've got Venus on your side. You've got Venus on your side. You've got Libra over here giving you enough logic that you can balance your heart and your mind together. You've got giving and taking happening, you know, with the 6 of Cups coming in. Be childlike with it, you know. How does a child deal with their emotions? They rarely take them into the next day, and if they do, we know that we've got a problem and we'll deal with it together. So think of that, you know, we're going to deal with this together if your inner child starts to have, you know, moments. So just stand in your power of yourself. Don't let unnecessary worry at the end of the month get to you. So we're going into this open arms, ready to give and ready to receive. We're coming out in the middle of the month into a more standing in your power, reaping in on what you've sown, what you've asked for these last few moons, or whatever you've been asking for is going to start showing itself to you. But you've got to wait. It's not quite ready. That's the one thing I will say about this card. It's not quite ready. So just wait. Have some patience. Yeah, that's another thing with scales and the Libra. It's about fairness and patience. Now, I'd say out of all of the air signs, the Librans probably got the most patience. So have a little patience. Have a little patience. I don't even know if that's the words, but yeah, that just came in my head. Unnecessary worry towards the end of the month. Do not feed into it, please. Complex decisions to make. They're not complex. Go back to ease. Go back to the drawing board. What is the thing that is most connected to standing in your power? And that, my friends, is your reading. It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed doing this. I can't wait to do your next one in Scorpio. But if you'd like to book in with me for a reading, please do. You can contact me on MCI888, which is on Instagram, or Moonchild Indigo on Facebook. You can also comment on here, and if I'm sure I see it, but you can also catch me. My email is below. Do what you got to do. See you really soon, and thank you for watching. Bye.